What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Knuckle Sandwich podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Anderson. Tonight, very special podcast, a very special live interview. This guy's been calling to be on my show for like almost a year now, since Hub City Fight Night 7 back in November. So Austin Longhaul Little is going to be joining us here in literally like seconds. We're going to talk about UFC 307. I don't know if he actually watched it. Well, actually, I do because he joined our live stream, so I know he was watching it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his dominant reign so far at 155. He moved down from 170 and he's on a 3-fight win streak. I've got a little game we're going to play that he has no idea, and I think it's going to be really funny because I did some lurking today on some social media. And then, yeah, man, I mean, it's just going to be a really good time. So we've already been talking off camera, and Lawton, we can go ahead and bring him on because it sounded like he had a few call outs maybe or something. I don't know. I mean, what's what's going on? I'm assuming he's on camera. I can't tell. What's up, Austin? How you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good, doing good. I don't have no call outs. I don't know what Brandon's talking about. Just been doing some research.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got to talk about this reign at 155, right? And I kind of prefaced that in the beginning, but you started out your amateur career at 170, which might I add, when I first saw you fight at 170, I know you're lanky, but like you weren't like a big 70 guy, right? And your first fight was against Manny Falca Santos, which is now like arguably one of the best top 170s in the state, in my opinion. And then Hayden Hicks, who you called out, which I mean, we've had conversations about that call out already. But so you dropped down to 155. Now you're on a 3-fight win streak. So I need to know what went into your brain about going down to 155. Was that in the game plan, number one, overall? And then number two, I guess, like, I mean, how are you feeling at 55? Do you foresee another drop down to 45 ever, or you think 55 is this weight class that you're gonna kind of reign supreme at for a little bit?
Man, yeah, Manny made me feel really small. I know if anybody's
Dude's a
ever watched
tank,
the fight.
bro.
Yeah, I
Ah,
was.
dude's a tank.
He is. Yeah, he's the one that really made me. But I mean, I think when I went into that fight, I was walking around at like 172. Like I was cutting like 2 pounds to make 170. So like, yeah, I was super small. It was just debut fight. I was like, man, I doubt people really cut that much at amateur. But yeah,
Sheesh.
I was wrong.
And now you look at Manny, dude, and it's like you saw him. I mean, at Fight Night
Man,
8. I mean, he's a freaking monster ripped. He's in the main event at Black Cat coming up in November. I mean, the dude's a monster. And I talk to his teammate Jared Travis all the time. Literally, I talked to him today, and like he tells me all the time, he's like, dude, Manny is in the most peak shape ever. He's a tank. He's a monster. He told me moving into the fight in September that he was supposed to be on, that he was in even better shape than he was in June. And I was like, dude, I can't even imagine that because he's so scary.
Man, yeah, he's a tank, and he's a cool guy too. Me and him have
Yeah.
talked quite a bit over the years since our fight. Um, and man, cool dude. And yes, I'm excited for that main event. He's got a black cat, dude, because I think that's going to be a great matchup.
Mhm.
Very very interested to see how that plays out. Um, but yeah, back to the whole like cutting down to 155. Yeah, I'm feeling good at 155. I had, I discussed it with coach about, you said something about going to 145. It's definitely not out of the picture, especially with this most recent weight cut. Um, man, it was so easy. I think I made, so, we had a catch weight with Chandler at 160, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
think I made this 155 weight cut easier than I made that 160.
Dang.
So
'Cause you
yeah,
weighed
it's
in,
definitely,
excuse me, you weighed in under like 150. You were like 153 or something like that, right?
yeah, I think 153.7 is what I came in
Jeez.
at. And yeah, felt really, really comfortable doing it. Like it wasn't a bad weight cut at all. So yeah, 145 is definitely not out of the picture. See what happens.
Fair
See what
enough.
happens. I may be a big 145er though.
I mean, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with weight bullying every now and then,
I like it. I
So,
like
three straight wins at 155 now, all by submission. Joseph Brewer, Chandler Blackley, Mason Fazell. I feel like now we're starting to get into this part of like your amateur career of it's time to start seeing some more seasoned opponents, right? Because obviously Manny I think both you guys were debut guys back then, and then Hayden was a debut guy. But I mean, Fazell was the first guy since really since Manny that, or I guess maybe any of them that has had a fight experience so far. So I mean, are you looking forward to that test necessarily of having somebody else that's more experienced in the cage with you? I mean, what do you expect from somebody else now that we're moving into that kind of season of your career?
Man, I'm looking forward to it like a lot. The last three have been all first round finishes. I'm looking for somebody to maybe drag me into the second, third round. I I'm excited. I like those matchups too because it's a little different when you have two guys that have been in the game a long time. I get the looks at practice all the time. I'm constantly getting rounds in with guys like Austin Lyons, who is Bellator vet, LFA vet, fought on the Contender Series. Me and him are always scrapping. Of course, Caleb, who is now 3-0, looking to go 4-0 later this month. Just seasoned guys like that, and it's just different. I like those matchups more because there's a lot of stuff you can do against those guys. And I know this sounds crazy that, don't work, like some of the feints and the stuff like that you can get some of these seasoned guys to bite on that you may not get, a debuter to bite on. Somebody that
Yeah.
hasn't seen it live before. So I'm excited for the matchups. I think we got some fun stuff in store, dude. Especially with the
Are you
mastermind
saying
like
that
you.
are you saying that an experienced fighter would be easier than a debut guy? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying I think it gives me a different some different
Like you
tools to
train
utilize.
different, right?
Yes,
Or
yeah, I think
train
it gives
different.
me a different some different tools to utilize. One, I mean, you got the film that you have on the guys as well too, so you can kind of see the ticks and stuff they have, which I haven't really had going into these last fights because even with Mason, which I know I talked to Mason and he's got some boxing experience as well. He had a couple boxing matches before his MMA fight, and then the one MMA fight he had. I mean, that kid absolutely smoked his opponent. I think it was like 45-second head kick knockout. So not
Yeah,
really much to watch on that either. So
fair.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited going into these next couple fights.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you were scrolling through the rankings a little bit. I have a spreadsheet that I go off of when I'm matchmaking and stuff, and I mean, like some guys that I see, and I don't know who you've looked at. I don't know who you kind of have your radar on, and of course, we can always talk about that kind of stuff too. But I mean, there's always guys that I'm like, ooh, this would be good. This would be good. But I told you after the fight, like, I want you to fight a guy that has some type of ground experience. Of course, more experience in the cage general, but ground game, right? Like somebody that can, you're not just going to take down to the ground, submit real quick, and then go home and eat B dubs after the fight and then eat mulligans in the morning. So, I mean, I'm talking about guys like, I mean, Jeremy Stewart's up there. He's fighting for a title at Summit. You got like Dylan Hurt out of Bushido. He's moving down to 155, though he just had like a tibia break. Kyle Castelline, he's out of Decatur, Alabama. Tough dude. But like, I mean, guys that number one have positive records is something that I kind of look for a guy like you now, and then number two, I mean, guys that have been in those wars and been in those 2 to 3 round fights. I mean, any of those names ever really like spark your interest? Or you said you were scrolling through the rankings. Were there any other names that you saw that were like, oh, maybe Brandon will pull that out of a hat? I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see where you're at.
Man, there's definitely a few, especially like because just being realistic with the whole lane situation, because that's kind of the guy I've been chasing here lately.
Yeah,
Man, that guy's been on a tear. He's absolutely killing it.
yeah,
As much as I want to share the octagon with him, realistically, I'm thinking that he may get that pro call before I even get the opportunity.
sure.
So I was looking at guys that have tested Lane in the past who have maybe took
Hmm.
Lane to a decision and um, put up a really good fight in those title fights with Lane. Um, and that's kind of the first guys that caught my attention because obviously I know they're after that 155 belt as well. They're going to want it back, and if Lane does end up leaving the picture,
Yep.
I know there's going to be a bunch of hungry guys right there waiting to snatch that. So that's kind of the ones I was looking at.
Okay.
Just past opponents for Lane that look good against Lane.
So you're
So yeah.
talking about guys like Lechuga.
That was a
Lechuga
great
looked great, bro. I
man. That
mean,
was a
on
great.
you're talking about on a 10-day notice, cutting from 180 to 156, and
That dude
then
walks around 180. That's
he
crazy.
so like he normally fights at 45. Again, he took that 5-year layoff. He
Yeah,
fights at 45. I hit up his dad, who's his coach, and I was like, dude, you got anybody? And he was like, well, my son was about to fight at 45, and he was going to fight at 45 in a few weeks. So he was walking around at 180. He was going to fight at 45 in like 3 weeks, and was like, yeah, we'll take it. And
that's
then cuts to 55 in 10 days, which is insane. And then I mean, dude, I mean his wrestling was strong, right?
dude. Very.
And he had a
Um,
chin. I mean, he took a lot of shots from Lane as well. So I was like, dang, dude. I do believe that on a full camp, I mean, Pachuca probably poses a threat to a lot of dudes in the region.
man, that dude's a handful for sure. Because I remember watching that. It was at what Hub City 8.
It was 8,
Um,
yep, fairgrounds.
and yeah, dude, that he actually really surprised me because I know going into that he was only 1-0, right?
1-0. His first fight was
I was
like
like,
30 seconds, and he fought completely different. He came out and like just started throwing haymakers on the dude in his first fight. And then in
yeah,
this fight, it's very composed, picked his shots. I mean, he tried to wrestle immediately, but I mean, it was a very smart fight. You could tell the dude's been in the game forever. So
dude, yeah, I was super impressed with him. Yeah, because I watched that one live, and yeah, that one he surprised me for sure. And then actually, man, I think I sat down like 2 days ago, and I just started going back and was watching some of Lane's fights, and that's one of the ones that I watched start to finish. And yeah, dude, a kid could be a handful for sure. But yeah, it
yeah,
was
and
guys like that I was really looking at.
guys like Jermaine Anthony. I mean, he looked
That's another one to look at.
when he fought Will Pittman back at Fight Night 8. I mean, you could tell he has evolved his game a little bit as well too. Uses the wrestling. He just fought smarter against Pittman than he did against Lane, I thought. Blanchard's a pro now. Pierrette's a 145er. So I mean, really, you talk about two guys. I mean, it's Jermaine Anthony, Leonardo Lechuga so far, but um, Lane's got a huge test with Elijah Woodruff. I do believe that Woodruff was one of the guys that originally I was going to try and book with him
Yeah,
for Fight Night 8, and there was just miscommunication between me and his coach in the very beginning. And then of course we had Keiston McLean lined up. Then we had Jeremy Stewart lined up. Then we had who else do we have lined up? Well, I think after Stewart, that's whenever everybody dropped out, and I messaged 55 different people to try and get somebody. And not to say that 55 people denied it, but I mean, of course, you get things like schedules and people are out of town or not training or whatever. So I mean, it's like if you were one of the 55, I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm not saying you denied the fight. I'm just saying that like sometimes timelines just don't add up on a 10-day notice. But Lechuga answered that call and he made a dang good fight out of it. But I like that. I mean, I didn't think about looking at Lane's records. I mean, I talked to your coach John and about that, and of course that was one of my points I want to talk to you about, this Lane Rowe call out that you've been having 2 fights in a row. Uh, obviously, like you said, it's not a call out. You're just chasing the man. But
respectful.
respectfully a call out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I had talked with John after your last fight, and I was like, man, like I know he wants it, and I think he's maybe one good fight away from it, but I think Lane's probably one more fight away from being pro, and it's like the timing is just not there.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I expected too with that. I think even before Hub City Fight Night 8, I'd kind of said that too, because that was the first time that I think I really gained any notice in the Jackson area. Um,
I think
so I
after Fight
knew
Night 7, you had a fan base because you
for
had the
sure.
fight of the night with Hayden,
Yeah,
and then you dropped down to 55, and then you really came out. And what I always loved, I rewatched your Fight Night 8 fight the other day, right before Fight Night 9, and it was funny the commentary. I was like, dude, he's slippery off his back. He could pull a triangle or armbar at any time, and immediately you were like, triangle, armbar. I was like, oh, this guy, he could hear me. That's what you could hear me. That's what he
that's
did.
what it was. That's what it was. Um, yeah, dude, that's just one of those things that it's one of the things I like, and it's crazy because I heard it so much after my first 2 fights. With the fight with Manny, um, which debut fight. You know how those go, man. They're just a flash. Like I don't think I remember, but maybe 10% of that fight. And then of course the Hayden Hicks fight where everybody was like, after those first 2 fights, everybody that's not in the fight game that doesn't really necessarily know what they're talking about man, you just got to work on that ground game. You got to work on that ground game. So that's kind of what I was been trying to do on this last, 3-fight run, is kind of prove, no, it's not my ground game that I need to work on. I mean, I need to improve everything. Obviously, we're constantly working to get better, no matter where we're at. But I think the big thing was with Manny. Manny straight up beat me. He was the bigger guy. I think he was a little bit more seasoned in combat sports in general. I know he's got a high school wrestling background, which if I do remember right, he was pretty dominant. I think he placed in state high school wrestling, which around here where I grew up and went to school, we don't even offer high school wrestling, which I absolutely despise.
Yeah.
I wish we did, but so that one I accept big time as, like, Manny was just the better fighter on that night, especially. But it really frustrates me with the Hayden fight. Hayden is a phenomenal fighter. That dude's tough as
Yeah,
nails. I mean,
100%.
yeah,
I mean,
we
the
proved
chin
that,
that he had from
dude.
taking, I mean, the amount of haymakers you landed on him, and I was like, "Oh, this is how we're gonna start the night right here." It
Yeah,
was insane, and I mean,
um,
I told you this. I think the cardio just killed you a little bit, after that first round or so,
and,
and then
and that's what I
I
was
think the
getting at.
55 drop was smart.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at is, like, with the big thing with the Hayden fight is, Hayden's a phenomenal fighter and everything, but I feel like more that fight I beat myself rather than um Hayden beat me. I think a lot of it, and a lot of people, like I was saying, it's, hey, your ground game, Hayden beat you on the ground. Yeah, Hayden beat me on the ground, but Hayden beat me on the ground because my striking was sloppy. My
Mm.
striking was extreme. It's very embarrassing going back and watching those first two fights and how bad my striking was. So after the Hayden fight, I really just went on a tear, and like that next 6 to 8 months, dude, I just hammered striking. Like,
Mm.
that's all. I mean, and now I'm at the point where I'm running a striking class. I mean, I've really just took a deep dive into striking, and I'm a lot more patient in my striking, a lot more technical. Pick my shots a lot better. Don't get near as antsy. And I think that's the big thing with cardio. Because I was in shape for the Hicks fight, man. It's just the striking was so bad, and I got so reckless and sloppy with it that I just drained everything I had. And I was just, I cooked myself, is what I did. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Got some live comments in the chat. Wanted to read them real quick to you. Jared Travis out here saying green opponents can be more dangerous because of the crazy firefight they typically can bring. Agreed, 100%. Hunter, I think this is your boy Hunter McNeely. Maybe a long haul title win? Question mark. I mean, so when are we going to see this long haul title fight? When are you expecting a title fight?
man, whenever you offer it, brother, whenever you offer it,
Fair enough. I mean, I
you
think 2025 is in the picture now, right? I mean, I think
for sure.
like we had said earlier, I think off camera probably. I mean, I think you're just one fight away, really. One good finish away over a experienced opponent. I mean, it's hard to argue if you're on a 4-fight win streak, you can't fight for a title. You know what I'm saying? Especially with being 2-1 at Hub City, and all these things too play into it as well. But my thing right now is I said this on the stream. I love Austin Little, man. You're amazing. I think your personality, yeah. I think your personality is infectious. I think the way that you just enjoy the sport is awesome. So I need to know, as every fighter's favorite fighter, which is you, who are some of your favorite guys that are on the regional scene right now? And if I can say, not including your teammates, that would
Yeah.
be nice as well.
Um, for sure, we got one in here already. You said Jared is in the chat, man. I love Jared. That's my boy. That's one of my favorite things about this sport is, not only the relationship that you build inside your gym, it's, the gyms around you that you interact
Hmm.
with, on a pretty regular basis and build relationships too. And I think that's definitely one of the ones right there is Jared. Jared, I hope you're still in here, dog. It's all love in Dyersburg for our Memphis guys. But but yeah, Jared, man, I love that dude. Manny, obviously, after me and him shared the octagon together, I've been keeping up with him ever since. And it's not an event that we're both at together that we don't sit down and talk for, at least 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
You got guys like man, Lane. I think
yeah,
I said that on the mic last time. And how can you not love Lane? That dude just a
pretty boy
wholesome dude, man. Yeah,
is what you
man.
said.
Look,
Pretty boy.
listen. It's so funny you said that because after going back and watching it, and even thinking about it right after, man, I was speaking off pure adrenaline.
That
So
was a
like,
little bit of a dig right there. You're like, yeah, that
man,
little pretty
no,
boy in a suit
listen,
over there
listen,
with the belt, blah, blah, blah.
that's
That's very
listen,
WWE of you to just start
listen,
yelling
no,
that in a mic.
that's not what I meant by it though. Like when I said pretty boy, it wasn't. It was like Lane's just a good looking dude. Like so when I said that's why I corrected. I was like, that's a gorgeous dude sitting there with the strap. I didn't mean like pretty boy when I said it. It just came out, dude. I was running off that fight high. That was. I think
Yeah.
you can agree because you've seen most of my fights. Is that's the most fired up I've been after a fight.
Oh, 100%.
And yeah, I was just speaking off adrenaline. So no, Lane, you're not. You're a pretty boy, but you're not a pretty boy. But yeah, but a lot of those Arrow guys though. So Lane, Trevor, I know that's a matchup right there that I'm kind of antsy waiting for that to happen. My boy Caleb and Trevor, but I've
What's
enjoyed
happening?
Trevor. Trevor
It's gonna
is
happen.
I like to
I
hear
talked
it.
to John about it today. I talked to Ryan about it today. It's gonna happen. I don't know
So
when. I can't say if it's gonna be January. I can't say if it's gonna be June, but it's gonna happen.
sweet, man. That's what I like to hear. But yeah, dude, there's a lot of guys in the local scene that I got a lot of love for. And I'm missing at least 100 because there's a lot of these guys that
Yeah.
I've shared cards with and I've got to work with, train with because I love cross training. I think there's so much knowledge to be shared, especially in this sport because
Mm-hmm.
no two people do this sport the same. There's a lot of similarities in the way that people do things, but there's always going to be small details that some people focus on that some people don't think are as important and that's one thing I love about it is there's always a different way to do something and you know I you know I love training with other gyms in that
Fair
sense.
enough. Well, I mean, obviously, we can't discredit though Dogwood BJJ and the love that you have for John Perez and all those guys over there. I mean, you spoke on it quite a bit in your post-fight interview, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of time on the floor to kind of speak to that too, because I mean, obviously, like back to times when I played sports and growing up, or when I boxed as a kid and those things, and my dad was my coach, and it was very big for me that my dad was my coach, and I mean, you were like. I mean, I think you even said like, "Dude, you're like a dad to me," and all these kind of things. And it's like, so what? I mean, man, what is Dogwood BJJ to you, bro? I mean, that's the question, I guess. It's a very broad spectrum, but
Dude.
yeah,
And I actually got my numbers wrong. I got to looking at it. I think in the post fight I had said 6 years, and then yesterday I got to looking at it, and dude, I didn't realize it, but I've only been training. It'll be 4 years in October, so I've only been training for not even 4 years yet. I thought it was longer. But man, it's hard to describe, and I know a lot of gyms are that way. Um,
yeah,
I've mentioned a couple today. I know Errol's pretty family oriented. So is MJJ, Memphis Judo and Jiu Jitsu.
yeah.
But man, it's just hard to describe like the amount of love and respect that we carry for each other over at Dogwood, dude. I mean, it's nothing short of a family. I know just the love and time and effort that John and Riss have both put into the gym and building it from the ground up, and I'll go ahead and touch on it about Coach because, like you said, man, I mean, he's I've had a very good father figure in my life. Like I love my dad to death. So I wouldn't really. It's hard. I don't know what to call John as a figure.
He's the
Like,
cool uncle.
yeah. I guess that's what it would be. But man, I can't even express the love I have for that dude. Man, just and I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure a lot that, do know us on a personal level know his story, but a lot don't. He's done a couple articles about it. I think he did one with a news article in Union City or a podcast over in Union City. But just his story, for the people that don't know that John is a cancer survivor. He had stage 4 esophagus cancer and wasn't supposed to beat it. I mean, let's be honest, he shouldn't be here today, but by all, defying all odds and just being the person that he is and not having the quit in him, he is, thankfully, because I really don't know what I'd do without him. I wouldn't be nowhere near the person I am today without him. Um, but he is originally from Texas, started training in Texas, moved to Colorado to kind of to follow the sport, training under Scott Miller, who is our one of our affiliates. He's actually going to be down next weekend for our promotions. He trains out of Colorado at Factory X with he's the jiu-jitsu coach for guys like Brandon Royval, who's the number one flyweight contender in the UFC right now. Jonathan Martinez, Alex Hernandez, who just got a big win this past weekend. So he's working with the best in the world, dude, and teaching the best in the world. But John followed him to Colorado and trained under him there, and then they were there for several years, and then got the news about his cancer and everything, and how bad it was. And I think the big reason they moved back is because this is where Sarissa, which is his wife, our female coach, this is where she's from originally. Actually, in the town that I live in, where I'm at right now, Kenton, Tennessee, and it's where all her family was. So I think the big reason they moved back is when if anything happened to him, if he didn't beat it, that she would be close to family. And like I said, when they moved back, he, defied all odds, beat it, and then decided to start something down here, dude. And now we have Dogwood BJJ. So
Let's
yeah,
go.
we're on the map. On the map.
So, I mean, I could have touched on this a little bit earlier, but I mean, you talked about your adrenaline, the passion, how excited you were after your last fight. And, I mean, you came over to me and you were like, "What now? Who's next?" Whatever. And even in the post fight, you're like, "Brandon, you tell me." I wanted to ask you, I mean, what's next for Austin Little, do you feel like? I mean, I know you're about to be a dad here soon, so you got to take a
Yeah,
little bit of time off, but, I mean, what do you feel like is next for you?
man. I'm at the point right now where I'm up for anything, and I pretty much I think I say after every fight, you tell me who's next.
Yeah.
Um, because I'm game for whoever you throw my way. It's
Yep.
yeah, let's go. Um, man, I'm just here for the ride.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna let you and John be the masterminds behind it, and I'll be the tool. I'll be the instrument for y'all to make big fights happen. Because that's
You'll
all I
be
want
the
to.
hammer.
Man,
You'll be
that's
the
all I want.
hammer.
I think that's the biggest thing I've fallen in love with. With the sport is, man, I just want to be exciting. Like I want to go out there and I want to, and not necessarily for the fame, man, but I like putting on a show for people. I like guys. For me, I'm at the point now, especially over at Hub City, in the Jackson area, because I fought in front of that crowd so much. Man, I'm just trying to be so exciting. I want every time that y'all announce me as a fight, that anybody that is a regular at that promotion that comes to as a fan to come watch it, I want them to see me on the card and be like, oh yeah, I'm not missing that. If he's fighting, I'm going to be there. So that's kind of one of the biggest things I've fallen in love with, dude, is just being exciting and just putting on a show. Just doing whatever I can to make the fight as exciting as possible.
Yeah.
Always hunting for a finish, like even when it hits the ground. Because I know a lot of people that aren't in the sport itself, that are just fans of the sport. You have that large chunk of people that don't like grappling. Well, I want to be somebody that makes even that fun to watch. Like I want people to think, oh, just because it hits the ground, that hey, a finish could be seconds away. Um, so
You've
just,
proven that too, and I mean, talk about a fan base. I think you probably had one of the louder ones at Hub City. I don't know if I think we have a mutual friend, Tyler Tubbs. You know Tyler Tubbs?
oh, Tyler's my boy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
played baseball with Tyler's brother Larry.
I've
Who was
been I've been trying to get Tyler to come to a freaking fight for like the last three. So I mean, hopefully he'll see this and actually show up next time. But
he's over in the Dyersburg area. I've been on that dude about coming and training for forever now.
heck
So
yeah, heck
so
yeah. All right, let's play a little game. And I'm not scratching off. We're gonna get you somebody. Don't you worry. We'll get you somebody. Whatever. Yeah. Hub City will get you somebody. All right, so we're gonna play a little game. Are you an Office fan? You a fan of The Office?
Dude, love The Office.
Okay, good deal. Thank you. Okay, so here's the deal. We're gonna play Who Said It. It's either Tito Ortiz,
Okay.
White Shroot,
Okay.
or you.
Okay.
All right, and like I said, I did some digging on Instagram earlier, so we're gonna test
Oh,
your knowledge here. First quote, you got to guess one of the three. He's reaching for those grapes. He's trying to make his wine, and the wine is already sounding like a violin with that cheese and wine.
Tito. Tito.
Tito Ortiz. He's talking about Renato Soberall. Whatever. It was so bad. That dude has some of the worst.
Dude,
Okay,
yeah.
it's so bad. He's got too much CTE. All right, next up. Life's like a game of Sudoku. No one really knows how to play it.
It's your boy right here. That's me. That's me.
It's your boy
Yeah.
right there. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
looking pretty as ever, too. That's the pretty boy right there. It's not a lady,
Right.
it's that guy.
I'm ready to face any challenges that might be foolish enough to face me.
Sounds like something Dwight would say.
Mm.
No?
3 for 3. I mean, this dude's killing it a
Oh,
lot. This dude's killing. He knows his stuff.
nice.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
Man.
This could go any way. One of the
It,
three right here.
I know it wasn't me. I know that one's not me. And it sounds way too complex to be Tito. I don't think Tito's brain can come up with that. I'm gonna go with Dwight again.
4 for 4, man. 4 for 4 right there. All right, let's go with number 5 here. The same boiling water that softens the potato hardens the egg.
That's me. That's me.
Boom.
Oh,
Let's go.
man, you
2015.
Golly,
2015.
I gotta
Went
go delete
digging.
my Instagram right now.
Went
Oh my
digging.
goodness.
Last one. Let's see. I gotta find it again. Oh, where was it at? Hang on. I think I have it somewhere else.
Bears beat Battlestar Galactica.
No, that's too easy for you. That's too easy. Hang on, guys. 1 second. I had it in a Google Doc.
Start spouting off just office quotes. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of
There you
families
go.
suffer every year.
Oh, this man knows what he's talking about.
Dude, yeah, it's my show.
All right, I train 6 days. Actually, 6 days a week. 5 days a week. I'll train 3 days a week.
Tito.
One of those days, I will train 2 days a week. So 6 days a week, I will be training.
That's Tito.
Bro,
That's definitely Tito.
so bad. So bad. Oh man, Austin, this has been fantastic, dude. I'm so glad you finally talked me into having you on. It was I know pulling teeth, but I appreciate you. I'm gonna give you a few minutes or a minute. I'm gonna time you. No, I'm just kidding. The floor is yours. Any shout outs you got? Any thank yous you want to give? You got it.
Man, starting off, and we've already hit on them once. Dogwood, John Perez, man, love y'all guys. I know a lot of those guys are tuned in right now or are going to tune in later. Much love for my team, man. Ron and Devin Collins, man. Shout out to those two guys because they're the best. I absolutely love fighting for Ryan and Devin. That's like talking about parents. Like that's me trying to make two parents proud right there. Like I'm just trying to make Devin and Ryan proud every fight. Shout out to you, Brandon. Like, dude, just what you and Knuckle Sandwich Podcast does for all the local guys, man. Y'all are awesome. I absolutely love y'all, and have been watching a lot of y'all stuff here lately, especially after you told me I was going to be on. I was like, man, I got to do my research and figure out what Brandon's going to throw my way. But shout out to you guys. Man, that's pretty much it. All my Jackson fans, supporters, people that's been keeping up with my career. Love y'all. Stay along for the ride. It's going to get even more fun.
Long haul from here, but Austin Little is a long for. Look how I just did that. That was pretty good right there.
You're so good. Right there. I'm impressed.
Man, I appreciate you being on the show so much, and I agree with all your shout outs. I think and Dogwood are the best. I think Ryan and Colin are okay. Or Ryan and Colin, Ryan and Devin. Ryan's all right. Devin's great. And then of course Knuckle Sandwich, the best crew. I couldn't do this without myself. Lawton's in the background running everything. I'm just sitting here talking. So shout out to all the Knuckle Sandwich crew.
One more. Shout out my wife as well. Sorry.
The woman that's burying your child right now.
Yeah. November 11th. Y'all guys say a prayer for me. I got a little girl fixing to be here November 11th. So shout out her, Lenny Jane. Terrified and excited. So it's gonna be a fun ride. Y'all see a little car seat with me at my next fight.
Man, you can bring out the dad strength for the next fight. We got
And
some other guys in the chat real quick. Garrett Dawes said W guess. Can't spell dog well without W. Caleb McBride said philosophy with Austin, laughing my butt off. Man.
Awesome.
All right, I'm going to let you go, Austin. I appreciate you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you made it this far. Holy moly, 36 minutes in. I mean, I can only talk to Austin Little for so long, but this has been a long haul. You better subscribe to save my mental space. But other than that, I appreciate all of you guys. Austin, I appreciate you as well, bro. And we'll see you next time. Probably, I don't know if we'll do a stream next week. We'll see.
Yeah. See y'all guys.
Peace out.